do that. I want to, where is everybody? Where is everybody? Nobody. What did you used to say?
I've been there.
Who's that? It's not me. I'm in the car. Oh.
I don't want to talk to you now, okay?
That was cold. That was cold, boy. That was cold.
Hey, I felt it over here.
Bonjour.
Hey, here's the man. All right.
Yeah.
Doc?
All right. How's everybody?
She did.
Yes. How you doing? Oh, good. Good to see you. All right. Everybody doing all right this morning?
All right.
Well, the news reporter, she made it here. And she did stop by and see the city manager or someone, had to talk with them. Well, are we ready? Are we on?
Yeah.
So,
All right.
action!
All right.
Come on in.
Everyone knows I'm John Robinson, a representative of the People Tribunal and associate pastor of the First Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. And I was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I'm a cancer survivor for 14 years now. And we are here today to address some issues pertaining to our city. I have something I like to pass out to everyone. It's called the economic structure. And it gives an overview, basically, of what we are proposing to the city. And let me take one of them. And it's a proposal.
Let me say a few words here.
Okay.
First of all, I would like it to be known that we was not remiss in omitting our news media. We invited most all the local news media, and we are live on Facebook. And I just wanted you all to know that this is one of the problems that we've been having in this community, and I think we ought to be on record for that, is that when we have powerful, newsworthy information, oftentimes nobody covers it. Correct. But we know that. But I just want I want people to say, well, did you notify the news media? Did you?
Oh, yes. Yes. We contacted WCTV, Channel 10 out of Albany, and some other news agencies, but they haven't responded. They should have been here this morning, but they didn't. They haven't shown up. The only one that came out was Valdosta Daily Times, and we appreciate you and thank you for showing up and coming out. Yes, sir.
Reverend Rose, not Reverend Rose, Reverend Robinson, the namesake, and to the rest of the ones here. I'm thinking along the line that omission is suppression. They omit to come in here and publish what's being said and done, and they're suppressing it. They don't want people to know.
I do agree. But we are here today to emphasize to the city of Valdosta how important it is for us to have this partnership that we are recommending. This partnership is only to ask the city to ask the federal government for aid to aid the city. We are asking them to ask the federal government for $250 million for the revitalization of the South Side. The low-income community is very important, and it needs to have the black ownership as well instead of being somehow excluded. We do realize that there are some people going to be in opposition of our approach, but we have drawn the line in the sand. And we gave them 60 days to respond. And they haven't responded yet. Now, they've been talking a little, but not nothing that can be considered serious. We want to be known that we are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of being advised to work our way from the back to the front just to be sent to the back again. Amen. I want to emphasize that I'm a native of Valdosta. I was born out at Cherry Creek on Stafford Wright Road by a midwife. 1954. I was here until 1963. At the age of 9, we left here. I drank from the colored water coolers, went to the segregated bathrooms while I was here at the age of 9. Lived here and stayed gone for 30 years. And come back in 1994. Didn't have to drink from the colored water coolers at this time. Valdosta can be a swell place to live if everyone is included. The unfortunate part is that everyone is not included. There's a certain exclusion here in this city. And what we are asking for the partnership is that we be able to share into the activities of monitoring the city's activities to know how they are spending the money. It was said in a public meeting that we had, and we have witnesses here in the building, where the mayor made a statement that over $200 million was spent on the north side and only $2 million was spent on the south side. We made repeated accusations to the city, and we had open record requests, and we didn't get any satisfaction. We asked how much money was spent on the north side versus the south side as a low-income community. They sent us everything pertaining to HUD. They sent us nothing pertaining to the real issues. So then we asked how much money was spent between the contractors, the people that's in business that do construction work, how much money was spent between the contractors that they've been awarding projects to. They did send us out something, but they sent us out this long list. And on this list, it had the same people been awarded the monies all the time, repeatedly. Had only one minority contractor on there that had been awarded a job out of all the contracts that was there. We're in a time when we're demanding change. And we are going to file this litigation against the city on behalf of the people in the city. These are the representatives that's here. Could you state your name?
Charles Robert Judge. Everybody knows me as Chuck.
All right.
Virtually Dumas.
T.J. Henderson.
And Bob Elder.
And Pastor Floyd Rose. These are going to be the representative plaintiffs. That's going to represent the people of the city. They have all the legitimate complaints for exclusion. We have been excluded. We're going to file Title VI. And it guarantees that no one to be left behind because of race, national origin, or whatever. But we are going to pursue this. We're not going to let up off of it. We are asking the government, asking the city to ask the government to help us to revitalize the city. We understand that the President Biden have put together an infrastructure plan to help the deprived communities. And we understand that so much money have already been allocated to the city. They haven't gotten it yet, but monies have been allocated to the city, but we know it's not going to be enough. So therefore we are asking for $250 million to be put in place that we can utilize and use this program here to help emphasize ideals that can move forward. They have made promises after promises. We've been working on this for over a decade, and we haven't gotten any place. Now, what they did, I'm going to go back in time just a little. No one don't want to discuss the real issues that we have. No one don't want to talk about the blatant racism that exists in Lowndes County or this city. It's not about the race issues in these points in times. Now, it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. What I'm saying is, I told you that I was born on Stafford Wright Road in 1954 without any civil rights. I told you that I drank from the colored water coolers and used the segregated bathrooms. I said that I came back in 1994 and I didn't have to drink from the colored water coolers nor use the segregated bathrooms. But a lot haven't changed. Some things changed, but a lot of things remain the same. And a little history on Valdosta. There's two Valdostas here. One for the rich and wealthy and for those who are thriving, and the other is for the people that's underprivileged in the low income community, which is the traditional black community. That don't make it about black and white, that make it about plain truth and factual truth. If we don't discuss this openly and be able to talk about it realistically, we're going to keep covering it up, keep living behind the veil, and things going to remain the same. Things cannot remain the same. See, the economic structure here, we've been omitted. Our community don't have anything in it. They don't have any monies. But even though they spent, as the mayor said, $200 million on the north side and $2 million on the south side, look at the contrast in that. We can't get in the place living under those conditions, where our children is robbing and killing one another, where they don't have nothing to look forward to. What we are asking is that through this program we are asking that we get admission through the program to have training facilities for educational purposes, such as trade centers where people can go in and learn a trade, such as carpentry, brick masons, welders, pipe fitters, fabricators, and designers, and etc. What we don't have is an equal opportunity along those lines because we don't have anything here now. And it's unrealistic to stand here and say everything is okay, and it's not. We want the city to know that we are filing this litigation and that we are not going to take down. When we look at where we came from, we'll go back as far as 1918. Right there on Patterson Street, Senator Johnson was dragged up and down the street, backwards and forward in the presence of the people here. Mary Turner, she was 8 months pregnant, and she was hanged up by a heel string, and her belly was cut open, and her fetus fell out on the ground, and someone took the heel of their boot and crushed the baby's head. Then they riddled her body with bullets, and then took a cigar butt and put it in the top of an empty whiskey bottle for a grave marker. That's part of the dark history of this place. And down through time, it echoed the sentiment of fear and a fear factor. Everybody be hush-hush about it. Nobody don't want to discuss it. But it's not God's will that we live under these type conditions. It's not His will that we live under suppression. He give us the wisdom and the knowledge with the understanding that we can move forward. And this is the way we are going to go about it. We want to emphasize to the city that we want change, and we are demanding change. We are not just asking for it, we are demanding it. And we are going to get some change. Amen. And we're going to go into the United States federal courts, and we're going to make a difference. Some going to say the same problem exists everywhere. That's probably true. But I'm talking about Valdosta.
That's right.
I'm not talking about everywhere else. You know, we have to start here at home. And this way we're going to address it from. George Rhines with the Ghetto Free Press, we want to thank him for coming out and that off the Daily Times. Yeah. We go back a decade when we started out with John Frederick and the lies they told. We started out with John Gale and instead it promoted oppression. And we come to the conclusion that this new mayor that we have The other left such a bitter taste in our mouth, we don't know how to trust him. We don't know whether or not if he's going to do the right thing or not. They're saying that they are being cooperative with us, but we haven't had the meeting with them. We've been trying to schedule meetings with them and their attorneys, between our attorneys, but to no avail. I'm here to say today that we are going to get someplace, that we don't have to live like this, and we are not going to live this way. We're not going to live under oppression all the time. It's time for change. Sam Cooke made a song, says a long time coming, but a change is going to come. And we are looking and expecting that change to come. And we hope that everyone can get a good understanding that we are not going to stand for this any longer. And we want the world to know that Valdosta is two Valdostas. One for the rich and the wealthy, a city where the people of power, from the power structure of this city and from the private sector, manipulates the governmental officials that runs and govern this city. I know that's a real remark to make, but it's a fact. They run it from behind the scene. This city and this county have been set up with the all-white power structure for years and years and years, for 160 years.
Whoop, there it is.
I can
Now,
some info on
in a city that's 51% black, 40% live below poverty, 43% earn less than $10,000 a year, there's something pathetically wrong with that picture. The city council members feed the hungry on Wednesdays, have a long, massive line of people coming by to get food. That's the indication that something is economically wrong in this place.
Yes, sir.
Because we don't go out in the line, because we don't have to. But those people that's in that line are in this line because they're economically oppressed and don't have by no means of being able to survive because we have economic failure here. And no one don't want to address it. It's too large for us to fix in our lifetime.
Yes, sir.
And too complex for a Band-Aid.
All right.
All right.
So now what we need to do is come together, hold together, and press on and move forward. We went for 4 months and visited every bank here in this city
Amen.
to find out why our contractors can't get any monies.
Tell it.
And they set up a forum, and we met at the Chamber of Commerce after these 4 months. And we went out, and they wanted to know what did we want. We told them we wanted justice and equality by the law. We went through a whole lot of conversation that involves subjects like a person have a bad credit score, they can't get a loan. We even talked about mom and pop businesses starting from home and making it downtown and then have economic failure because they have to pay a doctor bill or electrical bill to sustain themselves, and then their credit scores go down. And the banking system is based upon credit scores. And they said that we are not going to break the rule, but maybe we can bend it a little. So we went out and they said you go out and get federal contracts. We will honor the contracts and we'll see.
On the south side.
Correct.
They built, theoretically speaking, they built a $10 million Martin Luther King Memorial in a ghetto.
Correct.
In the middle of the ghetto.
Look out, brother.
Correct.
Those same city council persons, they agreed to do that.
Yeah.
They changed Branch Street to Martin Luther King in a ghetto.
Correct.
Martin Luther King was global.
Correct.
Look out now.
You couldn't put them in a box.
What? Preach!
All of these cities like Savannah,
Brickman.
no, even Brooks County, Main Road.
Thoroughfare.
So you can't pinpoint one city council person. You have to pick them all. Now, there are some city council persons are stronger than others. But we need to get our city councilmen, city persons on the board with us. You can help us. That's why we elect you. To see after your constituents. Compare what's going on on the south side versus what's going on the north side. It's time for a change. It's just that simple. We are not asking for anything out of the ordinary. We are behind. And we face city council members meeting after meeting, and they hear us out with a big smile and do absolutely nothing.
Nothing!
It's time for a change. It's time for a change for the city council. It's time for a change for the mayor. It's time for a change for all the constituents in each district. And finally, I was at a meeting with the city manager and a councilwoman. And they asked this question, and I quote, "Where's the south side?" They don't know where the south side is?
Let me let me say something.
Brother,
As soon as you get done.
go ahead.
You know, he got a very good point. I brought these pictures in here. And this is the downtown area. And this portion here is the bridge. This is the south side he's referring to. And these are the type of houses, shotgun houses, that's in these neighborhoods and communities. And on this here is a geographical area, and it reads Designated Revitalization Area Neighborhoods. All these colored areas in here that's of color, and they're marked with color coded. These are the areas that was designated for revitalization. Now one we have outlined, and it's called Kill Me Quick.
Yeah.
Okay? Now up here the topic of this neighborhood is called Kill Me Quick Community. So I outlined it. Now, who in their right mind would invest in a community called Kill Me Quick? Kill Me Quick. Okay? So this is the type mentality that's here. This is what he's referring to. Now, I like to say something about the city council as well. You have one person on that board that always seems to get gaveled down because they'll make mention of things in relationship to our topic. Okay? And they gavel her down openly. Okay? That's the only person on there. Now, what we got to keep in mind is when these people are elected to office, they have a mind like we have. They're going to do so much for the city and for the people of the city. But then when they get used to a certain lifestyle and living a certain life on a certain level, if that lifestyle be threatened, but then they take down from their position of promoting the things that you're asking for. Because they done got used to living on a certain lifestyle. By the benefits that they get from the outside sources that is not revealed publicly. So these people that I was telling you about manipulate the power from behind the scene. It's very important that we recognize that it's not controlled just by the city council. It's controlled by the one that is controlled by the puppet master that's controlling the strings, that's working all these boards. And it results in everything that you were saying. Now, I'm going to step back on this, and you can close us out with whatever remarks you got there and the questions they may have.
Okay, now, let me give you a good example, just where we are in the city of Valdosta. And this has never been done. They named numerous street names. They changed them. Never paid any money. Never paid any money to have a street change.
Look out now.
Okay, now.
Come on now.
We go to a young boy lady goes to the city council, asks for Forest Street to be named Obama Boulevard. Well, the city had a closed meeting and changed the rules. Now, the city council member was there. I think it's what, 4 and 2? Come on, talk to me. 4 and 2? 4 blacks and how many whites?
That's about right.
Okay, we so we have to leave.
That's right.
So now, so we're looking at help from our representatives, and we don't get it.
Correct.
Okay, now, so what they did, they joined with the minority. Okay, they said, okay, now what you do, you go out and get so many petitions. We did that, and then they changed it again.
Yeah.
Okay, we did that. Then they said, okay, you did good, but now it's gonna cost you to get it changed.
Correct.
So we had to pay $3,000 more to get it changed. Never been done. Never heard of it.
Something wrong.
So how it was changed, the people from the college got involved in it.
Correct.
And they started stirring this thing. And when you start stirring some stink, something's gonna change. Because nobody wanna smell that stink.
Yes, sir, you gonna
I
smell
know
it.
I'm right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one more thing now. Any questions? Come on, ask me some questions. Let me tell you something. We've been fighting this for a long time. So spread the word. There's nothing new. It's not a black thing either. Stand up, Bob. Stand up, stand up. Stand up, sister. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Stand up, brother. Stand up, yeah. Come on. That's a weak clap. Take it, Bob.
Yeah. He let it
Hey,
happen.
come on, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Charles Judge. A lot of you may know me from the community. I want to point out, I'm going to call some names out.
Okay.
Our representative in the state Georgia Assembly, his name's John Corbett.
Yeah.
Now this joker goes to church and they get out of church. Now my parents asked me to go to church with them one time. I get out of church, there's a Langdale, that John Corbett fella, the preacher, my stepdad, all out there talking about N-words. I won't say it out of respect, but y'all know what they was saying.
Understand? Okay.
So, you know what my family life's been like. I've been the black sheep, no pun intended. But I want to say, for one thing, there are a lot of white folks that don't like this stuff. But they won't stand up and speak up because they in with folks that can pull the rug out from under them like they did me.
Correct.
As George told you, I had a business here. And I was taken to jail and beaten for standing up for the kind of things we stand up now. And they sit in the jail cell and told me that's why I was in there. Didn't have no charges on me or anything like that. And then 7 years later, as I owned the business and was making progress and went to court, lawyering for myself and got custody of my son back in a time when they didn't give me in custody. And this so pissed them off that they set out to destroy me. Well, my family's still here and we still kicking, and we're not gonna stand by and not say nothing. I want to mention that this John Corbett fella has a brother that I work for, and I have the case information right here. I'd be glad to give it all. His name's Ron Corbett. He owns a boardwalk. He makes a lot of t-shirts for black folks when they have somebody dying or something like that. You know what I've heard out of their own mouth? Well, that's just good. We like that because that's another one dead. I hate to get up here and say things like this, but it's true. I've heard it with my own ears. I started with a band and we play black gospel music with at Pastor Adrian Rivers' church when he started out on Forest Street. And I was working with them people because I was beat down and didn't have nowhere. I was in bad shape, having bad health problems, had a stroke and several other things going on. But while I was working there, because they were across the street and I could just get there, that's where I heard all this stuff and got to know this. And those people were responsible for bringing in the dope back in the 70s and 80s. And now that they legalize it, and John Corbett, they got it on their farm out there growing it. And now that they got it legal, they putting it out there. You know how Ashley Polk always knows where the big dope busts are? That's how he knows. And when I tried to get help from Ashley Polk about being hit by this guy for no other reason than just quitting because of this nonsense that we're talking about now, and I'm not calling it nonsense, I'm saying it in the respect that it's nonsense the way they treat people and the way they act. And you know what I was told? Why you hang out with them GDN words?
Correct.
You know, I'd be in a lot better shape if I didn't. When I had my business, my right hand man was a black guy. Not because he was black, because he'd done a good job for me. And back then there was no black people in the sign business. My goal is I make neon signs. I bend it. I would like to have a business where I could have 6 or 8 apprentices and teach them that business. People who come from a low income or background where, you know, that they would appreciate something good and give them something that they can go and make good money anywhere in the United States.
Yes, sir.
But I don't get any kind of help from anyone when I go to talking about that. I just get slapped aside. But there's a case number. I'd like to give it to anybody. It's criminal case number 18 CW 00462, where I had to go to court. George was with me and had to apply to get the man arrested. And Ashley Polk, when I got a criminal warrant signed to have him arrested, said, I'm not going to help you because of that MFer right there was with me, talking about George.
Man.
And I'm up here calling names knowing good and well I could face some backlash. I will probably face some backlash. But I've got to tell the truth. And our community,
Man.
we need some people, some white folks to stand up. And let's get this right, because my entire life, and I didn't even plan it this way. It's just when I went to school and I saw things wasn't right, and I've just made friends with black people, and it's like that's a large majority of my friendships. And I don't care what the white folks say. I know I could be up there living a lot better if I didn't do that. But I know everybody's human. Everybody, we all bleed. When we cut ourselves, we all bleed red. This color of our skin don't mean nothing. But we've got to learn to stand up for what's right. And I still have a lawyer he says he's trying to fight. His name's Jody Peterman. He may have sold me out for all I know. George goes with me to all our meetings because I can't trust them to not pull any stunts when I go by myself. And I've been hearing I'm gonna go to trial in 2 months. I've been hearing this for 7 years. This guy attacked and assaulted me right after I got out of the hospital with a stroke. He knowing all this. And you know what his defense is? He's saying I said the N-word as a red herring for everybody to chase that. You know, when I was at the shop, I did use the N-word. You know what I used the context in? Me and some black friends of mine were talking about a Chris Rock video where he makes a lot of skits about I love black people but I hate N-words. I'm sure some of you guys have seen that. He used that old thing that had came up as a reason to hit me 4 days later. He could have fired me or whatever, but he used that as a reason to assault me. And now something that me and my friends were making fun of him about.
Okay.
But I'm gonna get off that subject because I know I've done gone too far. But these people are the ones, the names I just gave you, are the ones who are in control of everything, and they have the positions of control and the money. And it's like, I call it a redneck mafia. And I'll stop right there.
Well, I'm very glad and pleased to hear the statement that you made. And it just goes to show what's behind the scene out there and what's really taking place. We still got a statue downtown that Confederate soldier standing on Times Square, signifying the mentality of the Southern style of lifestyle. But what we want to do is be able to pull something together that we can work together to make something happen on a positive basis. It's okay for us to talk about where we came from, but we're not to get angry. We are to look to see can we find a solution out of all the chaos that have occurred over the years, and see can we find somewhere in the corridors of our heart a thing called love, L-O-V-E. That we can spread the love abroad and work hard and diligently as we move forward, as we take these final steps that we're going to take to move towards federal court, and want the city to know that the doors are open and we are willing to sit down and have an open discussion avert this. But if we don't avert this, we're going to paint this ugly picture of the truth based upon the reality, based upon the thing this man is discussing and the names, and we're going to call and reveal the names of all those who are pulling the strings from behind the scene. Believe me that we have had an open view of that power. It's kind of like what he was saying, kind of like what my man, Mr. TJ was saying. I had a first-hand view of how it really goes here. Through a gentleman by the name of Mr. J.C. Coward. He's passed now. And he gave me a good glimpse on the infrastructure of how this thing really operates and how the local government is manipulated by the private sector. So that being said, I thank all of y'all for coming out and joining with us today, and give a special thanks to the Valdosta Daily Times. And if you would, have this printed up, if you could. And we really thank you, and we thank the Ghetto Free Press. Now, I will say this before we close. Anytime that you stand up and try to do something in a positive manner, something negative come out of it. George Boston Rhines run into this situation a few years ago.
9 years ago.
9 years ago. He was put under criminal trespass. For what reason? They can't give him a reason. But they say they got something on him. But they can't do anything. Well, the thing of it is, when you make an accusation, that's defamation of character, whether they know it or not. So, beware of your environment and your surroundings. And as long as you put God first and have love in your heart, believe me, things will work out. And I want to say this last. Thank you for coming out. Valdosta, Valdosta, Valdosta. We are on the way. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless Reverend Robinson, longtime civil rights leader, Reverend Floyd E. Rose.
That's him.
And these panelists up here who gonna fight until the end. Y'all have a nice day. And by the way, when you go on Facebook, listen, please, and you see these videos, a lot of people recording more than me is live on Facebook. When you see this video, share it. Don't just look at it. Share it. Have your subscribers to share it. We don't have CNN and MSNBC, WCTV, CBS, ABC, 60 Minutes, 40-hour Dateline in your line. But we can do what we do. Bye-bye, we gone.
Hey, I close. What's the timeline on the litigation being filed?
Well, the timeline is going to depend upon the city of Valdosta in the next few days.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just to get you free prayers, George Boston Rams. I'm going to leave y'all now. But thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye, we're gone. Power to the people and share it.
All right.
Let's go.